Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel where today we're going over my week 13 NFL power rankings. It's a very interesting slate of NFL games we got this past week, as certain contenders are falling off while some teams we thought were dead are trying to come back alive in the last few weeks of the season. So we have our 6 tiers as usual. We got Super Bowl for true Super Bowl contenders, division teams for teams that can make a deep playoff run, wild card for teams fighting for the last playoff spots, meh for teams that are kind of just all right, bad are for teams that are bad but not like the absolute trash of the league that go into the booty tier. So let's go on and get started here with the Arizona Cardinals, who lost a close matchup to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Again, like the majority of their losses this year, they're close. They just can't get over the hump. Jacoby Brissett was solid yet again, but overall it just wasn't a great performance from this defense. The offense sputtered in overtime, couldn't get anything going, and so the Cardinals stay in the bad tier. As does the Atlanta Falcons. They're on bye week this week, so not really much to say about them other than I still think they're pretty screwed with their season, especially them giving the Rams, my spoiler, number 1 team, a top 10 pick this year. That could be top 5 by the season ends out, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, no, Falcons, bad. You know who's not bad though and has revived their season? The first place Baltimore Ravens, but I'm still going to put them in wild card tier, mainly for the fact that the past 2 weeks they've struggled against very inferior opponents. They barely beat the Browns last week, and for this week they struggled against the Jets for a very long time. They did get a couple of Derrick Henry touchdowns that was able to make this lead bigger than what it was, but yeah, still not a very good performance out of Baltimore. But with the way the Steelers have been playing and the way the Ravens are finding gritty ways to win, they're just playing some really solid football, and they're going to, I think, move in the division tier before too long. All right, next up we have the Buffalo Bills. Oh, Buffalo. What a disappointing game against the Houston Texans, guys. I thought that this would be a game that Buffalo could win. I thought their offense would do well. Instead, they lose to Davis Mills because of the Texans defense basically made Josh Allen suck. And if Josh Allen is not playing his best football, this offense for Buffalo goes nowhere. And so I'm pretty concerned in a year where the AFC is pretty wide open and like teams like the Chiefs and Ravens aren't playing that well, that Buffalo is not taking advantage of this year, and it's really, really sad to see. So yeah, Buffalo and wild card. Next up is Carolina. Close loss. They did lose pretty by 11 points on Monday Night Football there, but the defense actually played really well. Got 3 interceptions off of Brock Purdy. Problem was the offense couldn't do anything about it. And so, yeah, still don't know what to think about Bryce Young. It's year 3. He has moments of great play, and then he lays an absolute stinker like he did today. The offense just couldn't get anything done, so Carolina stays in meh. Staying in wild card is the Bears. I mean, they're getting it done. They're winning these close one-score games. Last year, they would not be winning these games at all. But I just don't think this is sustainable, especially with the schedule coming up. They have the Eagles this Friday. They have 2 games against the Packers. They have a game against the Lions. Those are 4 really, really tough teams that will really determine how good the Bears are. Now, I'm not trying to take anything away from your season, Bears fans, but you guys haven't faced the hardest schedule, and the true difference between contenders and pretenders is how you play against the good teams, and we just haven't seen you do that except for week 2 against the Lions when you got blown out. But we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks if the Bears climb up in these rankings for me or just kind of stay where they're at. We'll see what happens here. Next up is the Cincinnati Bengals. You know, good effort there. Without Jamar Chase, with T. Higgins leaving due to injury, he put up a pretty good fight against the New England Patriots. Big difference here was a Joe Flacco pick 6 when he only lost by 6 points. So I mean, I'm giving you guys a ton of credit here. You actually made Drake May flustered a bit in the pocket there with your terrible defense. So good on you, Cincinnati. Play some solid football. Also moving up a tier, Cleveland. I know it was against the Raiders, who is one of the worst teams in football right now, but you guys got 10 sacks on defense. Holy crap, your defense played absolutely amazing. Feasted on that terrible Vegas O-line. And Shedeur Sanders, he was solid in his debut. Not spectacular, not amazing, but very solid. And that's all you need to win a game with the way your defense is playing. So, yeah, good job, Cleveland. You're moving out of the booty tier and moving into the bad tier there. So, good job, Vegas. Moving up, I'm putting them in the wild card. They're at the end of wild card. Is the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, to go from 21-0, down 21-0, to have the tenacity to come back from behind and the ability to just beat the Eagles was very, very impressive for Dallas. I mean, your defense shut down the Eagles for the entire second half. Very impressive considering your defense is not good and your offense did just enough to win the game. And so, that was a very, very impressive showcase by the Dallas Cowboys. Denver was on their bye week. I'm keeping them in division tier. I still don't see them as a true Super Bowl contender because of how, similar to the Bears, of how they're winning their games. The difference between the Bears and Broncos is that the Broncos have some quality wins, whereas the Bears don't. But still, not going to ride too high on the Broncos there. Next up is Detroit, staying in division. If you guys blew out the Giants, I would move you into Super Bowl tier, but you guys went into overtime against the Jameis Winston-led Giants team. You got tricked on so many trick plays, went into overtime, and now you're on a short week. Played all those snaps on defense against a well-rested Packers team. Bit concerning for the Lions there. Offense sometimes did not work well, but still, Detroit is still a very solid team, so they're staying up here in the division tier. Next up is the Green Bay Packers, who are moving up a bit here. Absolute dominant performance over the Minnesota Vikings. I think the Vikings really showed their true colors. But 5 sacks on defense, 2 interceptions made J.J. McCarthy look like total crap. Offense did just enough to win. I think they're resting very much so for this week against Detroit, especially when their defense was showing how well they were playing. They took it back, let Jordan Love get healthy, let Josh Jacobs get healthy. And for once, the special teams actually contributed positively in this game with a muff punt turning into a Packers set touchdown. Field goal game was perfect. So Green Bay was firing on all cylinders and played some very good football as well. Next up here we have the Houston Texans, who I'm moving up the wild card. They're looking a little bit frisky here in terms of reaching the playoffs here. They're currently only a game back of teams of the wild card spot there. And with the way their defense is playing, I can see them making a push in the playoffs, especially after the way the defense just absolutely dominated the Bills. Played really, really good football there. And so, Houston, once the CJ Stroud comes back, offense is going a little bit more, and that defense keeps playing the way it is playing, then I can really see you guys making a run into the playoffs here. But I still think the division is Indianapolis. They're too far ahead. They lost a close game to the Kansas City Chiefs, which, I mean, it is the Chiefs. They're always going to be there at the end of the year, I guess. But mainly, the offense just became ineffective late in the game. That's Steve Spagnuolo, especially for Kansas City. But still, they're dropping out of a Super Bowl contender for me because I wanted to see them beat a team like the Chiefs to really show that they can contend. But still, good season for Indy, playing some really, really good football. And so look forward to seeing them in the future. Next up is Jacksonville, who I'm dropping down to meh. Just a very uninspired performance against the Cardinals. I mean, Trevor Lawrence did not play that good. Very inconsistent football. Luckily, it was against a bad team in the Cardinals, but they play that way against a solid team. They would not be close to winning a game. So dropping them down to meh, I think Houston is definitely playing better than them. And so, that's where I'm at with Jacksonville. Next up, Kansas City. Still keeping wild card tier. I still have questions about their team, but especially on offense. I mean, the defense played fantastic against one of the best offenses in football right now in Indianapolis. But I don't know. It's just I can't shake this feeling of disappointment in the Chiefs. I mean, they're not playing the best football I've ever seen for them, but they're still hanging around. They're still playing close games. But yeah, no, I just don't see it with Kansas City this year. I still think they can make the playoffs here, but that AFC, like 5 through 10, is so clumped together. They could be on the outside looking in. Next up is the Chargers. Again, in wild card, they're on the bye week this week. Don't really have much to say about them. I still think they can be a very solid team to make the playoffs, but we'll see what happens with, especially the injuries on the offensive line, if they can maintain any semblance of offense. Next up, LA. Yeah, no, they're in Super Bowl tier, man. This, for me, is a clear-cut best team in football. Matthew Stafford is playing at an MVP level. Offense is playing insane. Defense is playing insane. Just the best, most well-rounded football team in the league right now. And they're in Super Bowl tier for me as the number one team in the NFL. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, and you're not complete opposite, is the Raiders. My goodness, is this offensive line bad. They just fired an offensive coordinator, Chip Kelly. Pete Carroll is going to be a one and done. Geno Smith and Ashton Jeanty have no chance against this terrible, terrible offensive line. And it's just, what do? You just got to really just tear it all down, build it back up. And this team is just really, really bad. Also, not great, but not as bad as the Raiders, is Miami. On a bye week this week. They've been playing some solid football as of late. They're getting some wins here. But still, I don't see them as a good football team, so they're staying down here in bad. Next up is Minnesota. Yeah, no, that was a dog crap performance by J.J. McCarthy. And all my concerns about him are kind of turning true, as he just can't lead a team to victory right now. And especially with the Vikings, who are a team set up for instant contention with the way their roster is built, to trust that to a quarterback who missed all of last year with a ACL injury and barely honestly played in college to the level that he needs to in the NFL, I would not be surprised if the veterans on this team are getting frustrated with the organization and either demand a trade or demand that they go out and get a veteran to have JJ just not play, because he is actively hurting this team. Like, my goodness, he was terrible against Green Bay. Next up is New England, who I'm putting up in Super Bowl tier. I mean, currently right now, they're the best team in the AFC. Playing, honestly, still good football. Bit of a scare against the Bengals, but the defense played fantastic. Got a pick six there. And even when the offense was struggling for a good portion of this game, they were still able to find a way to win this game. Drake May continues to be very impressive, and this defense under Mike Vrabel is insanely good. So yeah, New England up there in Super Bowl. Please don't win anything else. I'm tired of you. Next up is the Saints. Booty on a bye week. They weren't on a bye week. They played the Falcons and got crushed. So yeah, no, Saints are in booty. Giants also in booty, but they're the fun kind of booty. I mean, if you have a trick play that leads to Jameis Winston stiff-arming a man for a 33-yard receiving touchdown, you're fun. You're very fun. The only problem is your defense could not stop anything, especially Jahmyr Gibbs, and your defensive coordinator got fired. The offense is really, really fun, and so they're the fun kind of bad, but they need to keep losing to get that high draft pick and be able to build up more of this offense, because you do have some pieces there. Just need to get better coaches, honestly. So, Giants, fun booty. Jets, not fun booty. I mean, they honestly played pretty solidly against the Ravens there for a bit, but just not enough talent. They don't have enough talent to really compete against most teams here. So, the Jets are in booty. Eagles. Yeah, no, I'm putting you behind all these teams. Just a really disappointing way to end that game, where you basically went up 21-0. You were rolling. You were playing really, really good football, but then you just kind of put the stick in the bicycle tire and flipped over and crashed and burned, giving a 24 unanswered points because of your offensive incompetence in the second half of that game against Dallas. And I don't know. Philadelphia these past 3 weeks against the Packers, Lions, and Cowboys just have not been inspired with their offense. And the thing is, though, like, your defense can do everything in the world to win your games. And it worked against Green Bay and Detroit, mainly because Green Bay and Detroit couldn't get out of their own way on offense. But I just don't trust this offense to score enough points to help you win a Super Bowl. Simple as that. And so that's why you're not any higher than where you are for me. Next up is Pittsburgh. Very much a meh football team. Without Aaron Rodgers, lost to the Bears. Did not play that well on offense. Mason Rudolph, very inconsistent, so not really much to say there. And you lost the lead of the division where you had a chance. If you just played solid football, you would probably make the playoffs. But no, you had to piss away your division lead, so you're there on there and meh. Next up is Seattle. Putting up here in division means it was a closer win than it looked like on the scoreboard. I mean, Seattle was absolutely dominating this game, but credit to Tennessee who was able to come back a bit there. But yeah, no, Jackson Smith and Jigba is absolutely insane. They're just playing some really, really good football here. So Seattle is in division. San Fran, wild card. I mean, ugly win against Carolina where Brock Purdy did not play good football at all. And so, yeah, up there in wild card tier. But got enough, defense did enough to win the game as well. And so you're staying alive. Next up, Tampa Bay. Yeah, you're in meh. Especially if Baker Mayfield is out for long term with a shoulder injury. Yeah, no, you're absolutely screwed. You're lucky your division is the NFC South, where your only competition right now is the Carolina Panthers. And I just think if you do win the division and you make the playoffs, you are going to get blown the heck out. What a promising start for Tampa Bay has turned into utter disaster as injuries have caught up with them. Next up, Tennessee. I will say, moving them up a bit here, they did lose against the Seahawks, but Cam Ward showed some signs in this game. He willed them back to life a bit there at the end of the game there. Chimere Dike has been an incredible kick returner, punt returner. Should be an all-pro at this because he's so dang good. And there are some signs of life there that I see there compared to the Raiders and Saints. So Titans moving up a couple spots here. And Washington is just bad on the bye week. Not much else to say there. So that is my tier list this week. In Super Bowl tier, we only got two. We got the Rams and Patriots. In the division, we got the Colts, Seahawks, Broncos, Packers, Lions, and Eagles. Wild cards, the Chiefs, Bills, 49ers, Bears, Ravens, Chargers, Cowboys, Texans. Meh is Steelers, Buccaneers, Jaguars, Panthers. Bad is the Cardinals, Dolphins, Vikings, Falcons, Bengals, Browns, Commanders. And in booty is the Giants, Jets, Titans, Raiders, and Saints. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.